welcome to another episode of the Final Siren with Duck and Oz from the Purple Rain. Fantastic to get back on the winners list, Oz. What a day it's been. ANZAC Day, obviously, probably the most important day on the calendar if you are an Australian.
Yep.
Just an absolute epic day. Roll in, dawn service, roll in fighter jets. I don't know if you heard those this morning, mate. Heard one this morning, very loud. And then, you watch your Collingwood, your Essendon game, but there's nothing better than watching the Dockers in the Len Hall game.
Look, mate, I've said it before, I'll say it again. There's no better club that pays homage to the proud tradition of ANZACs that the Fremantle Football Club's able to put together. It's just fantastic. A lot of respect, and the way in which they go about it is just phenomenal, and we deserve to have it as a permanent fixture. So hopefully that goes ahead. But just the way that both teams came out and really attacked the contest in the spirit of what it's all about. And we do know, Duck, that at the end of the day, football is just a game, but it's the spirit in which you play it.
Yeah.
And it's carrying on the traditions of those who have come before us and those who have sacrificed for us and what that means. And we can probably put that into a bit of a nutshell and talk about the one percenters and when it's time for you to go and when it's time to be selfless and all that sort of stuff. And I think all of those traits that we talk about it as being the spirit of ANZAC really shone through today.
Yeah, and I don't think I could say it better myself, Oz. I think realistically the club has done such a great job. I think three-quarter time alone, just that celebration of Arthur Leggett's life, really with the lone pipeman, the guy on the bagpipes, the lone piper, just a really fitting touch to a champion, really. And same with Len Hall, the club's done so well to embrace this. And look, it's not like we get to play it every time on ANZAC Day. And we understand, a Wednesday night fixture or a Tuesday night fixture may not be good for the breaks and stuff like that. But look, I really think this is a real strong opportunity for the Fremantle Dockers to go to the AFL and say, look, 53,000 at the game, played in really great spirits, the way we go about it, prime time. Oz, and we're not big prime time fans, mate. We like off Broadway, we like our Sunday afternoons.
Like the Sunday avos.
And our Saturday mornings, but, for the guys to stand up the way they did in a game where backs against the wall, like we said last week, obviously wasn't something that we like to see, but for the boys to come out, bounce back. Third best quarter under J-Lo in that first quarter, third best first quarter. Started off really rampant, and a lot of red time goals, which was really exciting because we conceded a couple last week, but those red time goals got us up and about. Score the 80 points, 43-4 now under J-Lo when we score 80 points. 23-7 when Freddie kicks 2 goals, which
that's
he did,
exciting.
including an absolute marvellous snap from the pocket.
Yes.
And 27-9 when Sarong and Brayshaw get 60 disposals together, and they did that again. And it's Sarong's hand passing and ability to work through the tag and get those clearances, and it's Brayshaw's gut running that really was absolutely critical to the Dockers winning.
Yeah, look, absolutely. Very quickly on Brayshaw, as you mentioned before, he's 37 disposals, 5 tackles and 6 clearances, 527 metres gained. Simply stunning.
Yeah, that's all right.
Doesn't matter. We just come around, mate.
There you go, Duck.
Oh, how you going? Nice to meet you.
All right, grab a seat, put the headphones on.
All right, look, guys, first question off the bat, feel free to answer in any way, shape or form, but we talked before about how proud this club is of the ANZAC tradition and how we set up the game through the week and how you guys obviously address it. Can you walk us through what that's like from your perspective through the week, and then what it's like to actually stand out there for the ceremony and to stand side by side against those who have served and represented? What's that like?
Yeah, it's an honour really. It's a privilege to be part of the whole Leggett game. I know for myself personally, it's my first ANZAC Day game. I'm not sure about Porter's, but yeah, it was a really surreal moment, and that minute silence, you can hear a pin drop in the crowd and almost gives you butterflies. So yeah, it was such a special game to be a part of. Great for me personally to enjoy it and experience something like that, and it's even better to get the win.
Now, Karl, how did you feel about how you obviously played? We'll get to you in a sec because you had one of the great games, mate.
You can take all that.
How did you feel out there, mate? Because you did a fantastic job, and it's one of those things where, playing that backline role, very often it's like fans, they see you make one or two mistakes and all of a sudden it's like, get him out of the team. But I thought you were faultless out there today and absolutely outstanding. How you feeling 3 games in a row now without getting subbed off or anything like that?
Yep.
How are you settling into it?
Yeah, really good, thank you. I think it's just trying to build some continuity in my football. Unfortunately, last year I had that concussion in round 1, which just sort of set me back a little bit that year. But it's a credit to the backline and Twig, backline coach, and Tendai as well, to what we're building back there. It's a very strong backline for me personally to learn off that the past 3 years. It's just helped my game heaps, and we've got such great leaders, Moose, Coxie, Lukey, Clarkey as well. We're really tight-knit. So for me personally, it's just going out there and playing my role, doing my bit, and yeah, just trying to help out the team, really.
Nice. Now, look, OMac, 2 goals, 3 goal assists. Mate, you've just equalled your best ever, and now you're just surpassing all of this sort of stuff. So, thrown into the mix, into the fire, if you will, coming in, rucking, forward. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, well, I sort of put 2 and 2 together at the start of the year, start of the pre-season, that maybe backs positions would be pretty tough to get, and so I just thought, I approached the coaches at the start of the pre-season and said, look, can we try a couple of things, try ruck, try forward, just training-wise, open up a couple of opportunities for myself, but also for the team, give a bit of flexibility if, touch wood, injuries happen, which they do in the game of footy. So I was sort of half prepared when, I got the call up to play forward and ruck. In saying that, when you get out there, it's a different beast. You can train it and play it and play it through your head all you can during the week. But once you get out there, it's a bit different going up against, say, Max last week in the ruck, and then O'Brien this week.
Yep.
Talk to us about your comeback, because obviously last year, start off the year, round 1, playing, and then there's that knee injury, and like everyone's up and about. Oh, how good's this guy? We've got him off the scrap heap. He's in with us. 3rd club, and it's like could be anything. And then the knee. So talk to us about that and that recovery.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tricky one, because I moved over with my partner, sort of made the big move. Always wanted to get back in the AFL after getting delisted from Carlton. Moved over here and then to have a good pre-season, play round 1 and doing my knee. But in saying that, looking back, I always said, if I never played again after that, at least I gave myself a full crack at getting back in and playing AFL again. It was only 2.5 quarters, but it was still all worthwhile. And from there, I just thought, let's just get the recovery done and try and put my name back up for selection whenever that time comes. So the knee injury didn't turn out to be as bad. It was a 4 or 5 month injury, so was try to get back for last year's sort of finals campaign, which never eventuated. But good to be back running around wherever it is this year.
Was it a similar injury to Darcy's knee injury from the sounds of things?
There was
Sam Darcy, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I never, don't put me comparing me to him. But no, he, sort of similar. I think I had a little bit more going on in terms of sort of hamstring and ligament damage. Right. From what I hear, his was more bone fractures and whatnot, which I had a little bit of that, but mine was more my LCL and hammy attachment were completely ripped from the fibula head. So, and then an ACL tear.
Right.
Not a full blown rupture.
Right. Wow. Okay. Well, let's get to some positives. So quickly talking about the 1%ers, man. This is what this day is all about, really, and doing your part. And I just noticed, just writing things down during the game, there were just so many 1%ers that all of the boys were getting in and about for, and things like, head over the footy, but more importantly, like just getting the fist in, or, just doing enough to curtail and hold and do what you could. Did you feel that out there, like everyone doing their part today?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's such an infectious thing as well. When you see your leaders do it, or it starts in the middle, it just spreads across the whole ground. And that's something that we really build our game off, build our brand off, is just being tough in the contest. And it's probably something that we lacked a little bit last week against Melbourne, and that was a real big emphasis for us in the week, to try and get back to that trademark footy, which we love and value. And that's when we played our best, when we're really tough, and doing those little 1%ers, as you said.
Yeah, nice.
Talk to us about Andy Brayshaw and Caleb Siren, because the two guys, they just go about it, and it just seems like like Andy's running capabilities today just blew Adelaide off the park, and a deserving winner of the first Arthur Leggett medal. What's it like playing with a guy like that? How much does that inspire you and lift you when you see his work rate?
Yeah, they're rippers. You talk about, obviously they're talented football players, but then you talk about those 1%ers, and Andy Brayshaw, I think it was in the last 2 minutes, I think the game was pretty much on ice, and he's come through and spoiled in the top of that 50 just to create a loose ball. So the things they do behind the scenes, as well as their obvious talent, is just remarkable. And they lead the club from the front on and off the field. They're great, week to week, driving standards, driving training standards, driving, off-field stuff. So they're brilliant for the club.
Nice. Look, we're not necessarily privy to what goes on within the club, and we know that it was such a disappointing result last week. But from all reports, we heard that training was a little chippy through the week, and JL obviously had to stop at times just to sort of say, in no uncertain terms, what's going on here, boys? Did you guys feel that there was a need to sort of reassess where we were going, what we value, or was it more just getting back to the basics?
Well, it's just a competitive environment. Like when and obviously it's a game there's pressure in it, so you've got to accept that there's going to be pressure and stress and whatever it is. So when you're coming off a bad performance, everyone wants to get out there and try and rectify that as soon as they can. Coach, staff, players, everyone want to do their best. So when you have that, those competitive juices, and you get out on the training track and you might not do it as you want, fair enough. You get a clip and you learn from it and you move on. So I actually don't know what was that they fired up about. But
well, it was just in the media. Just appeared that what we were told was that JL just wasn't happy about a few things and had to. Yeah, basically tell you blokes what to do and what not to do.
There's always room for the old-fashioned rev-up, isn't there? Still, I don't know. It's fading out of the game.
Now, boys, obviously Len Hall game very important to the club. Do you think the club can approach the AFL and make this a permanent fixture, ANZAC day, evening, have something that we have here and how well we do it?
Look, for sure. I think it's such a privilege to be part of an ANZAC Day. Watching a little bit of the game earlier, you just see the atmosphere and the sort of game and the energy it brings. So, look, I think it would be great for the WA as well. Obviously, the decision's not really in our hands, but it'd be something that's pretty cool. But not sure that's what happened.
You see, like the Melbourne Tigers, I think they're on their 10th year of doing that, the ANZAC Day Eve game.
Yep.
There's no reason why they can't implement something else over here.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Love that.
Love that.
Because it's just that it takes that demanding, doesn't it, to be like, no, this is what we want to do. This is how we've done it. And I think we do such a good job of it. And when I say we, me and Oz aren't doing anything, but we stood and took our hat off and did the right thing. But it's just something that I think the club could really be strong advocates towards, like something special on this day. And I know it does make it a long day, especially people who are going to the dawn service. And now, what is it? It's 9:16, 9:15 in the evening. So it does make it a big day for people. But I think it's definitely something that we can celebrate going forward.
I even think, to be honest, look at the crowd that came out tonight. It might have been 52, 53,000. One of the biggest crowds apart from Derby. If we keep putting up numbers like that, why not?
Yep.
I think it's crowd between the two teams.
So look, today is really a blueprint, isn't it? In terms of the game played and the efforts and all that sort of stuff. In terms of that blueprint, what can you take out of that and make sure that happens moving forward? Like, what are the things that you can take out of that game and sort of go, yep, okay, this is our brand of footy?
I still think we sort of come back to the basics of football. We're a contest defence team, and off the back of that, our offence and ball movement will sort of flourish. We come in here with a clear plan to sort of nullify Adelaide's strengths and sort of capitalise on the back of that. But I think at the end of the day, people get caught up in a lot of fancy, gorgeous, they move the ball from X to Y to Z real quick and kick a goal. But you look before that, what happened? Someone defended really well, created the turnover, won a contest. So I think things like that, the basis of football will never go out of fashion. That defence and contest, which we pride ourselves on, if we sort of stick true to that, I think that's what will get our game going and keep it going.
You could probably bring this up at the meeting. Do you guys know that we're 43-4 when we kick 80 points under J-Lo? So you could use that stat if you want. Boys, we just need to kick 80 points. We're winning nearly every single game, 90% of games.
Didn't work last week, though.
It didn't work last week. Yeah, it doesn't work all the time.
But I think that shows that if we can keep teams to a lower score and then off the back of that capitalise, then for sure.
And look, to be fair, in the media, Sean copped a big whack because he obviously lost the battle, if you will, against Gorney last week, but really second game back when you think about it, and this time round he's got his 38 hit-outs, I believe, or 36 hit-outs, 4 tackles and 4 marks, so bounce back. Hopefully everyone was getting around the big fella during the week, and I'm sure that he probably would have heard the noise about that as well, and being the proud man that he is, wanted to bounce back, but I thought that was a superb game from him today.
Yeah, well, I think off the back of a strong training week from him, he took onus of what happened last week, and in fairness to him, he hasn't played much footy really in the past 2 years. He won a Doig medal a couple of years ago, and we know what he can bring. We know he's a champion ruck. Off the back of a 6-day break and coming up against Max Gawn, it's pretty tough, pretty tough ask for any ruckman really, but he was fantastic tonight. He really drives our midfield, and it's just really great to have him back and get him having a healthy run.
It's nice. And I think we might wrap it up there, boys. Thanks very much for joining us. But before we leave, obviously Tabs has left the club. He's left a gaping hole in regards to the weirdest unit. So who's currently leading the sweepstakes in terms of the biggest weirdo at the club at the moment?
Weirdest unit, wow. Well, I've probably got to say the next number 20 that's come through, Patrick Voss. He's followed in Duck's footsteps. We love Vossi. I mean, you see his goal celebrations. He's a very passionate man. I love Paddy, one of my good mates, but fair to say he's probably taken the role of 20, Matty Taberner.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, Karl Warner, Oscar McDonald, thank you very much for joining us today. Look, really, really love the way you both went about it today. It's just awesome that we get to play on the. I keep saying we like I'm out there.
We're not out
I
there.
don't know if you guys
We're
saw me.
all
I
in
was
this
out
together.
there.
We're all in
Yeah,
this
I was
together.
like,
Come on.
Get in, bud. Go on, give us a chance. Just give me an opportunity. That's all I need. It wasn't for my knees.
One out in the square.
Yeah, one out in the square. That's it. But look, you like wearing the jumper and the effort you guys put in today just makes all the fans so proud, and we really love it. Back on track now, away we go, and book the bus, a little bit of action there, and you never know. Next thing we know, Melbourne in September.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Done well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Alrighty, well, fantastic talk to those young gentlemen. Absolutely ripper blokes, and for Oscar McDonald, a guy who's played 89 games now over 10 years, and to come in and fill that role, like you said, I was 3 goal assists in his whole career leading up to this game. 3 goal assists in today's game, so stuff like that, and to be able to be flexible and understand, hey, look, I've just got to play whatever role comes my way.
But how about the nous of doing it pre-season? Just say,
really
this,
smart.
you need those sort of guys. I tell you what.
I mean, how valuable now the backup ruckman / forward is, and look, we've got Dogger Jackson coming back next week, and look, it just puts all the players on notice as well. Like you can't. We've got Patrick Voss, we've got OMac. You can't have a down day and just think you're going to get selected in the side. So it's a really, really great thing that we've got this real fierce competition amongst the players. And I think Karl Warner, tribute to the young man. When his first game back, or maybe second game back, didn't really have the best game, made a couple of silly mistakes, but he was fantastic today. I think Ben Keys. Did Ben Keys end up kicking goals? Can you check that on
I've got my little book here. No, he did not. He kicked it behind.
He had gone 16 games in a row kicking goals. So, to keep him goalless, I thought he was outstanding. And just a number of guys who continue to step up. Jordan Clark, that chase down tackle, obviously, that just personified
I've got that right here.
how he's going. But how important he is to our run and drive off the back line. We mentioned Brayshaw and Sarong. I think the way they go about it, and it all comes from the middle, drive from there. Hayden Young played his best game back so far this year, and shows that he's a danger going forward with his overhead marking. And look, I think it's a number of guys that continue to step up, and that we need to continue to step up.
Yeah, and look, I've said it before, like when everyone chips in, it's really hard to actually try and squeeze everybody into a conversation because of how well the team play collectively. A guy that we haven't actually talked about, who I thought had a ripping game, was Wagner.
Oh, Wags, mate. Wags.
So I tell you what, just again, the run and drive off the halfback, but then again to go on the wing, cheeky, love that. So that was great. But again, these little cameos that people play, that's all you got to do. You got to come in and play your role, do your thing, and it makes a huge effort when you have the whole group contributing. And that was massive today, I thought, in the end. And even Narkle coming on as well, got involved, had a couple of opportunities to kick a goal.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been elite.
I reckon it would have brought the house down because there's a big cheer for Narkle at the start of the game. And look, coming in, debuting for the club again, another guy who's at his third club, and and same with Wags. So, we've got these guys that we're giving another chance to.
And they're hungry.
And they are hungry, and we're reaping the rewards from it. So, look, I think it continues to be a work in progress in some circumstances. I think now that we've had a week and we've had time to reflect, because we were hot after the Melbourne game.
Yeah,
we won't lie, mate. We were hot.
Oh, it was hot.
I think the
Hot.
double travel, the 6-day breaks, the hotness of the Barossa, I think all those things come in to contribute. And when we reflect back, I think Melbourne played the best game that they will play potentially for the year. Maxi Gawn dominated, and look, we were down and we lost by 10 points. We didn't get smashed. We didn't get flogged. We only just lost. And look, I think the disappointment kind of shows where the fans' expectations are and the club expectations are.
Which is a good thing, because we need to have high expectations.
Yeah.
And we need to hold the club to account as well, which is what we've been doing. And I think when the players bounce back like they do today, and again, the occasion demands it.
Yeah.
There's no way you can't have that type of performance on a night like tonight. And the trick is now we need to back it up. And that was the question I just asked before, just the idea of there's the blueprint, let's make sure we do that. How do we make sure we have those intangibles and continually press and continually do what we need to do to get the results that we know that this club is capable of achieving?
Yeah, fantastic. And look, St Kilda next week, Friday night, real exciting. Another one under the big bright lights. Hopefully the boys can bounce back and continue to build upon this really great result for the club. And look, I think realistically, Oz, we're back on track. Away we go, 4-3. We're in the top 8. There's a bit of a, we're going to be caught up in the shuffle, so we've got to make every post a winner. And to beat an Adelaide side that have been super impressive this year, and to hold them to under 10 goals, I think just is a credit to J-Lo and the coaching staff and Alex Pearson, the playing group. So really good stuff. And on that note, Oz, we will wrap this up. Thank you very much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember to subscribe, hit that bell for Docker TV. If you're listening, remember to subscribe, rate and review. Give us 5 stars. Put in some classic Dockers players. That's what we love to see in the reviews.
We love seeing that.
Guys, if you like this, make sure you listen to the Purple Rain. We do a review show every Monday afternoon. If you've got questions, we're at Purple Rain 95, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. You can hit us up on our Gmail if you really want to, thepurplerain95@gmail.com if you want to flick through an email as well. But if you want to give that a listen, that's a little bit of a deeper dive, talk about Peel, answer some listeners' questions and go into the game in a little bit more detail with a few more stats and things like that and analysis. But thank you very much, guys, for watching once again. Like we said, I know for most people it's been a really big day getting up for the dawn service and then sticking around for the Dockers and the Len Hall match.
And just quickly, thank you to all of those who have come before and including those who continue to serve today. Your service is more than loved and appreciated. So we thank you for everything in your service to this country.
On that note,
goodbye.
Goodbye.